Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. You know, one thing I get asked more than any other question probably when it comes to rifles is, what rifle out there can give me the most bang for my buck, so to speak? A lot of people are interested in getting into the AR platform, but it's a little intimidating when you see price tags of $800–900 at the low end, all the way up to, oh geez, $2,500 for rifles. So people are kind of put off by the AR platform because they assume that they're going to have to shell out a ton of money to get a quality rifle. And that's just not true. There are great rifles out there from Wyndham, from Bushmaster. SIG makes kind of an entry-level rifle. But the best value, in my opinion, would have to be the M&P 15 Sport, as everybody has come to call it. You know, it removes a few features here and there. They cut a few costs. But overall, this rifle, after shooting numerous M&P 15 Sports over the last few years, I have yet to experience any kind of failure from one of these guns. And, you know, in my opinion, if it functions well, you know, function beats all the tactical stuff that everybody wants any day of the week. You know, I want a gun that's reliable, and this gun is certainly that. So, what are you missing when you buy this Sport? Well, in my opinion, you're not missing anything. Yes, it doesn't have a dust cover, and I've had people say, well, I want to add a dust cover later. You know, I don't understand why that would require, you know, milling, and I don't even know what you'd have to do to add a dust cover to this, and why? There's no reason for it, especially in the climate I live in. It doesn't have a forward assist. There again, if you're using quality magazines, I've never found a use for forward assist. I find magazines that are cheaply made, Pro Mags and some of these other magazines that don't have good followers, have weak springs, whatever, force me to use a forward assist because it doesn't seat the round correctly. But if I'm using Magpul magazines, Troy Industry magazines, whatever, never had a problem. So skip the forward assist. You know, if you use good mags, you don't need it. Standard A2 bird cage flash hider. You'll find this on guns that retail at $1,000. So no costs cut there. Good 1-in-9 profile, or 1-in-9 twist, heavy profile barrel. You're not going to find the government profile that it's been come to called, the M4 profile. It's got a good barrel in it, you know, and groups tightly. I've never had a problem with that as long as I'm using relatively lighter grain bullets than you know, maybe some people would like, but it'll stabilize those quite well, and I don't find that to be a problem. Front sight, you know, it's the standard front sight post that you'll find on a lot of rifles, maybe older rifles. There again, not a big deal. If I'm going to use an optic or something, I'm going to get over that anyway. It can be removed with a little bit of effort. You know, take it or leave it. The handguard, you know, it's a handguard. I've never been a fan of these handguards, but that's a $40 upgrade probably, and you can float in pretty much anything from Daniel Defense to Troy to Midwest, whatever you want you can put in there, Magpul, and do it quite easily. So, you know, you can stick with this if you want to keep it at low cost, or go with something a little different. You know, it does come with a rear Magpul flip-up sight. Never been a fan of these as a primary sight. I find that they're more useful for being a backup sight, but nevertheless, it's there and it's provided at no extra cost, where a lot of rifles are going to come optics ready. Therefore, they don't give you any sights whatsoever. At least you get something that you can shoot this right out of the box. You don't have to spend extra money on a red dot or a scope. But, you know, eventually I would want something other than that as my primary sight. You know, without tearing it apart, it's properly staked. Everything looks great. The bolt carrier, you know, it functions well. As far as the magazine well, there's no flaring or anything here. There's no serrations or cuts here to the front of the magazine well. No, not a big deal. The trigger guard is permanent, so there's no removing that, but it's flared somewhat. You can get a gloved finger in there without an issue. Standard grip, that's probably one of my biggest complaints, that a lot of rifle companies are sticking with this stupid grip. This doesn't fit anybody properly, in my opinion. I would replace that. You can even go with a Magpul MOE grip for probably 25 bucks or less. I don't even know what those run anymore, but not a big deal to replace that. The stock, again, pretty standard, nothing special. Better than some of the carbon 15 rifles you'll find out there from Bushmaster with that wee little stock hanging off there that's barely a stock. This at least is serviceable. 6 position, collapsible if you live in a state that still has freedom like it should. It's got your sling attachment here. You know, this has always to me been a weak spot in these stocks. I always feel like I could break that thing, but again, if you want to replace the stock, 50 bucks, maybe something around there for a Magpul stock. You know, it functions and it works good. It groups well. What else can you say about the M&P 15 Sport? You know, can you turn this gun into something grand? Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to be on par out of the box? So here's a Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 that I spend a lot of time with. This comes with a whole mess of upgrades, but again, you're going to spend $1,400 just for the rifle, and then I've slapped an EOTech and some backup Magpul sights and AFG. I did swap out the grip on this one. This is a Magpul Myad, which I find fits my hand quite well. But there again, that whole setup, I've probably got, I don't even know, $1,800 or $1,900 in that thing. You know, it's a lot of money to have all the cool, fun accessories. But this gun right here, for $600, will function pretty much as well as that one in terms of accuracy at 100 or 150 yards. You know, what else can you ask for? So if I'm in the market for a entry-level beginner rifle, or I want a platform to build on, this is a great place to start. You know, I know a lot of guys that are into building rifles and they want to build as cheaply as possible. I don't think you can build the quality of rifle that Smith Wesson puts out in this Sporter model for that price. So, you know, buy this rifle and add to it if you're looking to have some place to start. You know, they're excellent for that. So, my advice, if you're in the market for a rifle between $600 and $800, go with the low end and buy $200 worth of accessories to put with this, and you can make it a pretty darn nice looking rifle with all the bells and whistles that you want. For probably 800 bucks by the time you're done, so you can't beat that. So thanks again. Check us out. This is Keith from Trigger Happy. We'll see you next time.